Welcome to the S.3 video. I'm going to work very hard to keep this under our normal time. We have 6 problems to get through, so we're going to jump right in. How would Mr. Schmidt run a middle school dance? Okay, and I've talked about this before as kind of an analogy for variables, but imagine we had 6th graders, and you had boys and you had girls. And then 7th graders, you had boys and you had girls. And 8th graders, you had boys and you had girls. And what I would say is that 6th grade boys should only hang out with 6th grade boys, and 6th grade girls should only hang out with 6th grade girls, and there should be no mixing between anybody. So imagine that we called these the A's, and we called these the B's, and we'll call these the X's, and we'll call these the Y's, and we'll call this the G, and this the F. So these are all variables that don't get mixed together. If we have 3 X's, that's 3 7th grade boys, and they were next to 4 7th grade girls, we don't combine those to be 7 XY's. They're independent, they're separate, they don't get mixed. So if we had, 8 8th grade boys and we had 9 8th grade girls and they were trying to, mix together, we do not combine them at all. And in the same way, if we had these terms together next to these terms, it's just all separate. So I want that really stuck in your head that a variable is just a number. It's not to be mixed with any other numbers. It's just a placeholder, just like it's always been. So we have 2 equations here. We're going to be doing these problems separately. So I want you, for the rest of this video, to try one of the problems on the videos and then see how you do, and then I will work through them, and if you have questions, like always, ask me. So on the left side, we have a formula. A is equal to 1/2 times the height times the base. This is the area of a triangle. So we want to solve for B. So in this equation, we have B over here, and we need to get rid of the things that are on the same side as B. So since this is an equation, we're going to do this. But we have to get rid of, I'm going to do the H first. Well, the B and the H are being multiplied together. We have to always do opposite. So the opposite of multiplying by H is going to be dividing by H. So then we have A divided by H is equal to, those are now gone, 1/2 times the B. Well, the opposite of multiplying by 1/2 is multiplying by 2. You could also think of this as dividing by 1/2. So I'm multiplying this whole term by 2. So you could write this as 2 times A divided by H, or you could write this as 2 times A divided by H. Since you think of that as 2 divided by 1, just as the fraction. Both of these things are equal to the B term. And so this is the answer I like better, but the top one is also mathematically correct. So there you go. We just solved for the variable B. This right here is completely equal to what we started with at the beginning. If we plugged in the values, they would still be all true. But now we can get into substitution method and things we're going to learn next. So here, I would like to, first we're going to solve for the M variable, which means that we're looking at this side. We know M is being divided by V. The opposite of dividing by V is multiplying by V. So you can write this as D times V is equal to M. So that's one of the answers. Now, what if I wanted to solve for V here? So can I continue this process? Well, the D and the V are being multiplied together, so if I divide D on both sides, I end up getting V is equal to M divided by D. And this process can just continue forever. If I then wanted to solve for D, I'd go back up here and divide by D and things like that. So there you go. That's the 2 examples for the first assignment. How am I doing on time? Not great, but we'll keep going. So this is the IXL. This is the second section, which wants you to solve for the Y variable every time. But I see parentheses on the right side. Hopefully that jumps out at you and says distributive property. So we got to do that right away. So I'm going to distribute in this 2, and I get y minus 2 is equal to 2x plus 18. Whoa, don't do that. Plus 18. So I now want to get rid of the term that's on the left side with the y. That's negative 2 or minus 2. The opposite of negative 2 or minus 2 is going to be plus 2. Ooh, they have a new blue pen. That's pretty sweet. So plus 2. That's gone. And I get y is equal to 2x plus 20. Because the two numbers can be combined. It's like 8th grade girls with 8th grade girls, but we want to keep that x term separate. Now, since you're an 8th grader, you see on the fraction on the right side, you're going to panic, think it's horrible, but it's really not. We're going to be taking this 1/3 and we're going to distribute it into both terms in the parentheses, right there and right there. So the left side, that's going to stay the same. Y plus 4 is equal to 1/3 times x minus, and go, what's 1/3 of 9? That should be 3. All right. Now we can draw our line down the equal sign and solve. We're going to go green here. So now I'm going to minus 4 from both sides. I'm going to put that with the two numbers here. And I'm hoping that you do the arithmetic right. So 1/3 x. This is negative 7 if we combine those two together, not negative 1. And there you go. It's a pretty janky rectangle there. That is the IXL. Once again, just solving for the y variable, getting everything away from the y. And this is the last PDF, the Orange Book PDF. This is the, I would say, the toughest one, but it's definitely not impossible. So what we want to do is solve for the y variable in both of these. Now that means we have to get rid of everything that's on the same side as the y. Now, we do not want to divide first, so we are going to get rid of the entire 2x term. The opposite of positive 2x is going to be negative 2x. We're going to do the opposite, negative 2x. So these are gone. The left side, we still have 3y. And on the right side, we want to put, you can do 6 minus 2x, or you can do negative 2x plus 6. Both of those are okay. So when you have negative 2x plus 6 here, you can then divide by 3 with the y, but we need to do divided by 3 on every single term on the right side. So I get y is equal to negative 2 divided by 3 times x plus 2. Negative 2/3 x plus 2, because there's negative 2/3, and there's the positive 2 right there. And now that should be the same as what we started with up here, just rearranged. Going to the right side here. Let's change color. I need to solve for y again, which means I have to get rid of the x term first, because that's on the same side as the equal sign. So I'm going to add 8x to both sides. Once again, I do not combine the 10 with the 8x. Those are separate terms. So I get 4y left on this side. On this side, I'm going to go 8x plus 10. And now I want to divide by 4 on every term. So that 4 divided by 4 is 1, so it's just 1y or just y. 8 divided by 4 is 2x. 10 divided by 4, a lot of ways you can write this. You can leave this as 5 halves. I just simplified the fraction. You could leave it as 2.5, or you could write it as 2.5. Those are all mathematically correct. That's the one I'm going to pick. And there you go. 3 assignments for S.3. If there are questions, please let me know. Oh, we got it under 10.